Joining us today on Paria TV is His Eminence Archbishop Anushavan Tanyelian, Prelate of the Armenian Prelacy of the Eastern United States. Also joining us is Reverend Archpriest Narek Derderian, pastor of St. Sakis Armenian Church of Douglaston, New York, and Colonel Aram Sarafian, chairman of the Prelacy Executive Council. Our topic is the pontifical visit of His Holiness Catholicos Aram I to the United States of America. As we agreed, this interview will be bilingual, and I'd like to start with the Prelate Anushavan Tanyelian. Սրբազան ինչպես սյանքներնով բոլորս մեծ ուրախությամբ կսպասենք այցելությունը մեծիդան գիլիգոգաթերգոս նորեսուպություն դեր Արամ առաջնի վեապար հարաբեդի միացյալ նահանգներ և նամանավանդ Նյու Յորք, Նյու Ջերսի շրջանը։ Մեր նպատակը այսօր շատ բարձ է հավատացյալներու դերակատարություն տալ այդ ինչ որ պիտի պատահի, երբ ինքը այստեղ գտնվի, եւ ծեր օրդությունը պիտի խնդրենք տալ մեր ժողովրդին, ինչպես կրնակ ամփոփել այս բադմական այցելությունը։
Շատ սիրով Վարդանապդո նախ եւ առաջ թույլ տու որ շնորհակալություն հայտնեմ քեզի. I would like to thank you and highly commend Vartan your praiseworthy service.
Thank you.
You hate to be praised because you are so humble, so simple, yet dynamic in our greater New York, New Jersey communities with your service. That's why I would like congratulate what you have doing over the last 4 decades. You remember a couple years back we were trying to organize a plot with your wife in order to celebrate the 40th anniversary, but unfortunately last minute what did happen I don't know. We were ready to bring encyclicals from Karekim Vehapar, Aram Catholicos, but yeah. Nevertheless, your service is highly appreciated by all. This is Vartan. We cannot change him. Nevertheless, we thank you whatever you are doing. Խնդրեմ, Aram Catholicos-ի այս այցելությունը հովվաբետական այցելություն ըլլալի ավելի իր 30-ամյակի տոնախմբությունն է. More than Pontifical visit, we are going to celebrate his 30th anniversary as Catholicos of the Great House of Cilicia. Եվ եզի համար ասիկա իսկապես որ ուրախություն է, բադիվ է, օգնություն է, ոչ միայն գիլիգյան մեր թեմեու համար, այլ ընդհանրակը առհասարակ հայ եկեղեցու համար, ինչպես նաև քրիստոնյա աշխարհին համար. After all, he is a servant in Armenian church, but nevertheless, he is also, because of his experience, because of his wisdom, his leadership has been always praised by non-Armenian circles. Actually, just 2 weeks ago, when I met his Beatitude Patriarch Bartholomew of Constantinople, when I conveyed to him His Holiness's greetings, I was surprised and I was indeed humbled, and I felt so proud that he said, I admire Aram Vehapar's leadership, his wisdom, because in World Council of Churches circles, as well as in Middle Eastern Council churches, and also non-Christian and dialogue he created during his tenure, it's indeed praiseworthy, and as Armenians, as Christians, we are all proud of him. Իր այս ծառայությունը մենք ուզեցինք հատկապես ժողովրդային մագարտակով բանձացնել արդեն իսկ միջին արևելքի մեջ այդ շարքը սկսած էր, անցյալ շաբաթ Մոնրեալի եւ Տորոնտոյի մեջ տեղի ունեցավ եւ ես ներկա եղա ներկայացնելով մեր թեմը եւ ասիկա մեզ համար ինչպես ասի մեծ ուրախություն է, որովհետեւ ոչ թե մենք անսիմը սևոմը կնահատանքը կնենք իր զարգան, այլ մեր երեցվող փերած իր այդ անկնահատելի զարգությունն է, որ մենք ուզենք լուսարձակի տակ փերեն, որովհետև Kidekte HBS Aisveçinje sundagnere, Michinarevel Kimech, Lipanan, Manan Suryo, mir Kautler HBS Sansevetsan, HBS Live Hayrenike Sansevetsav, Nayev Mes Poros Büke Sanselov, Yefedeva Par, Igat Fokevor, Regavarutune, Iskabes Poros Mamachitaranke, Yemezi Vestain Vobidarashnokte, Aravel Yevestebi, Pagina Vahankis. Ուրախ որ վեապար հայրապետի հանդեպ մեծ հարկանք կդարձվի ոչ միայն մեր թեմերի ներս, այլ առհասարակ եւ Սփյուռքի եւ Հայաստանի մեջը եւ միշտ վեապար հայրապետին գնային որպես այսպես խաղաղություն փերող, երկխոսություն, դիալոգ փերող եւ այդ ծևով գողմերը հաշտեցնող եւ միշտ ինքը պատրաստ է ոչ մեկ արիթը որ ընձայվի իրեն ինքը միշտ այդ իր խաղաղ թերը գուզե դադարել մեր կյանքի մեջ է. He is always ready as a man of dialogue, always to bring together the any problem which is between communities or other entities, and that's why he is highly appreciated and praised by different, let's say, organizations. Ես կուզեմ այս պտանով շատ ամփոփ կերպով իմ խոսքս բանանել, եզրակացնել, սկելով որ Դերհայրը եւ Արամը շատ ավելի մասնագի կերպով անդրադառնան իր ծառայության վրա.
Nareg, Derian, you know, your church must be very, very excited to welcome the head of the Giligia Catholicos. And I know there is a lot of Badarak and Pontifical services that will be taking place in your church. There are many other activities. One of the major activities for the youth is to witness Veapar address them directly, because there is a gathering with the youth. Now, this usually turns to be very memorable and almost historic for the young people. Could you give us a take of what is it like for the younger members to listen to the Veapar, who is extremely eloquent, both in Armenian and in English, and projects himself beautifully to the youth?
That's a great question, Vartan. The youth event is organized to take place on Saturday, November 15 at St. Illuminatus Cathedral. And when you asked the question, I couldn't help myself but think about the youth event that we had 2 years ago at St. Sarkis Church. It was our responsibility to host a similar event, and we had the three churches, our church, St. Illuminatus Cathedral, and St. Bartholomew's from New Jersey. The youth come and listen to Veapar, but it was done in such a way that our youth presented their words to and their thoughts to Veapar, who listened to them really carefully, and then he addressed them. And the vibe in that room was so unique, was so rich, where it was like a dialogue between the pontiff and really young adults. This time around, it will be a little bit different, because we are focusing on young adults, college ages to age of 40. And I know that entails, a few different generations, but it's important for them to come and be with Veapar. It's like having a private audience with someone who, the world recognizes, and to be in a small space, speaking to him. Veapar listens to when our youth speaks, and then to also have the opportunity to hear Veapar and the message that he has. So this is a unique opportunity, and I would encourage anyone who is college age or applying to go to college, 18 and up, all the way to 40, maybe 41 too, will be acceptable, to come and listen to Veapar.
That must be very exciting. Colonel Aram Sarafian, thank you for joining us. The pontifical visit is usually marked with celebration, there is excitement, and there is history in this visit. You have once said that the church is not just four walls. The church is the people. Could you elaborate on this profound words?
I think, those were Vehpar's words. And I think that he was right on the money with that. So the church is not just the buildings that we have, it's the community that we create.
Mm,
And the goal of the church is not just to build, physical structures, it's to reach the people. It's how we touch the people,
mhm,
how we meet the needs of the people, whether they be the spiritual and physical needs of our community. The Armenian church is unique among churches in that we go beyond just the religious, which is obviously the main purpose of the church, but we go to preserve the culture, the history of the people, and the memory of the people. So we are the community's collective memory is in the church and our church stories as well. So when Vehapar said those words, and I've taken them to heart, I'm sure everyone else has as well. Um, he meant, and I'm not to speak for Vehapar, he does very
mm,
much better job than I could do, but he meant that it's reaching the people. It's not the structures that we're creating. It's
mm.
our
Yeah.
impact is how we impact our people and our community as individuals. So
Maybe we should also echo what he said. And he also said a church is not a museum. And that's also very, very heavy for our community to understand. A church is where our values of as Armenians, whether it's religious or national values, are incubated.
yeah, I agree with that, but I think there's another nuance to that too. By museum, it's not where we come every Sunday to see, oh, this is what our history was.
Mhm.
The church should be part of our daily lives. And the message of the church should be how we run our lives.
Mhm.
That's what the message is. It's not something that we just look at and say, oh, that was my history back then. The church is very much a part of who we are today, how we should be leading our lives today, and where our future is tomorrow. So it's not a museum, and it's not just the past, it's where we're going. It's the path. It's the path that we follow to get here, and it's the path that we take in the future. And we should look at the church and the message and the gospel and the teachings of Christ as informing how we live our lives.
Colonel, what is the main challenge the prelacy faces? And may I say the Christian church faces? Because we all seem to have the same challenge.
So I think there are many challenges, and you can break it down. There are pieces, and we often look at it as this piece, that piece. But I think fundamentally, it's society is evolving, and technology is leading to a very different lifestyle now than what we had 20 years ago, 50 years ago. And as society evolves, we have to figure out what our place is in society. And I think the struggles that churches are having is how do we reach people in this new environment, in this new technological environment? People are, and it's not just the technology, it's the whole family dynamic has changed. We're no longer multi-generation families in a single household. Um, People are more spread out than they ever would. People are more alone than they ever used to be socially. I mean, the generations that are younger than us now are more socially disconnected than we were. And how do you reach people in this environment? And I think the struggle that our church is having, and all churches are having, is how do you reach people in this environment? I don't think there's a problem in the message of the church. I think the message is a very strong message, but it's a question of how do you reach people and how do you resonate? How do you connect with people now versus how we did before?
What is our place in society, as Colonel just mentioned, and how do we address these very serious issues? I enjoyed the podcast, by the way, and you are very effective in reaching out, in projecting your message.
Exactly. As Colonel said, the technology is evolving and times have changed. And not to oversimplify things, but I see that there's a lot of noise that people hear nowadays. There's too much distraction, and I believe our role as church should be to deliver a familiar voice, a voice of the voice of the gospel, the voice of our Lord Jesus Christ, especially a voice that channels through the traditions of the Armenian Apostolic Church, that is credible, that is something that our people know very well. They can resonate with that. And I believe that the Pontifical visit and the celebration, the 30th anniversary celebration, falls into that category where we try to reinforce all of that by coming together, creating a moment of unity where clergy and our lay people come together to receive the blessing and hear also the message of the pontiff and have this moment of renewal so that we can continue our lives while maintaining our allegiance to what is important to us, our faith and our national identity.
Colonel, what does this pontifical visit mean to you? You know the people, you're a member of the community, you're a leader of the community. What does it mean to you personally?
I think the most important thing, like we were blessed that we had the pontiff come these past 2 years, and now this latest visit is really his visit to the West Coast. But on the way out, he's gone to Canada, and on the way back, he's stopping by here. But I think the importance of this is the connection that he creates between the community and the church. There'll be people who don't often come or don't come as regularly as we would like to see them, and perhaps as regularly as they would like, because there are so many distractions, as Nadeg has said, in life now. But I think he creates a bond and between the people in the church, and there'll be people who will come who maybe won't come every Sunday, but they'll remember I was there and I saw Vehapad, and that connection is a deep connection that ties people to the church. And I think his coming out here shows his love for us as his parishes, in that our Vehapad has made the effort to visit every parish. He's gone out to every parish because he wants everyone to know that they are part of a greater whole. They're not some isolated church somewhere. They're not some isolated individual, that they're part of a greater Armenian community, a greater Armenian church, a greater Armenian nation. And I think it's those bonds that his visits represent that are really meaningful to the community.
Սրբազան Անուշավան գիտեմ որ գտնամ երևակայել քանի հայորավոր անձեր գործեն աշխատինցեր հետը որբեսի այս այցելությունը հաջողությամբ բսակվի շատ հասկանալի է ինչ է ծեր խոսքը այս նվիրյալ անձերուն ինչ է ծեր քննադական խոսքը ինչպես կրնաս իրենց ներշնչել որ շարունակեն այս աշխատանքը
Մեր ժողովուրդը միշտ կամավորներով աշխատած է եւ անոր համար հաջողությունը կգացեն կգայան անոր մեջ. As a teamwork, all of us on all levels, in all communities, I thank the Almighty Lord that He has provided us with volunteers. That's why we have been successful over the last century after the Armenian genocide. From the bottom of my heart, I thank each and every member of our committees. And I hope that our communities, they will also come forward to enjoy the concert at Carnegie Hall, performed by Isabel Bayraktarian, well-known opera singer, artist. And then Friday evening, we are going to have cultural event at St. Vartanant's Church in New Jersey. As you mentioned, the youth dialogue, conversation with His Holiness, and Sunday, the banquet. I hope that this is a very unique opportunity to come together and as a spiritual father and children of a great house of Cilicia, we celebrate together this landmark, which I believe that will inspire all of us. Մեզի համար մեծ ուրախություն է սկսես, որ Thanksgiving-ի քոհապանական մեր ճաշկերույթը այս տարի մենք կնվիրենք Վեհապար Հայրապետի 30-ամյակին եւ որպես զավակներ վստահ եմ, որ ամեն սալ պիտի կանք մեր շնորհակալությունը մեր հաղթանք հայտնելու նորից սրբության եւ ոչ միայն մեր աղոթներու, այլ նաեւ ներկայությամբ քաչալերենք իրեն, որ շարունակի իր այս վսեմ առաքելությունը եւ զարայությունը մեր երեցվող, մեր ժողովրդին եւ Աստուծո փառքին համար։
Ուժ կարողություն ցեզի Սրբազան հայր, դեռ նարեկ ինչպես կրնակ ամփոփել վերջին խոսքը, եթե փամը գավոր գուզեիք հավելցնել, ինչպես կրնակ ամփոփել այս հարցազրույցը։
Well, ամփոփելուն համար կրնամ ասել, որ մեր ժողովրդի ներկա իրականության մեջ շատ դեմքեր չունենք, որոնք 30 տարի վեր այս պաշտոնի վրա են ծառայություն կմատուցան եւ բոլորին կողմէ ջանցված են։ Ես աշակերտ էի Տբրևանքի մեջ, երբ որ Արամ Կաթողիկոսը ընտրվեցավ որպես կաթողիկոս, 20 տարի ավելի կծառայեմ որպես քահանա եւ Արամ Վեհապարը մեր կաթողիկոսն է։ Ուրեմն 30 տարիներու իր առաջնորդի պաշտոնը, իր հոգևոր հոր պաշտոնը մեր բոլորին կյանքի մեջ մեծ տեղ ունեցած է եւ արիթմն է ասիգա, որ բոլորս հավաքվենք եւ շնորհավորենք մեր Վեհապար Հայրապետը եւ նաեւ մենք մեզի հաստատենք այն ուխտը, որ մենք հայ եկեղեցու զավակներ ենք եւ պիտի շարունակենք հայ եկեղեցու զավակներ մնալ, որպեսզի պայծառացնենք այն բարգեւը, որ Հայաստանից առաքելական եկեղեցին է, որ Աստված մեզ տված է եւ զանիգա առողջ կերպով փոխանցենք հաջորդ սերունդներուն։
Colonel Sarafian, in closing, are there any thoughts you would like to share?
I have nothing special to add on top of this, but I would say that we are very grateful to Vehapad for his visits here. This is the 3rd year that he's come out to the Eastern United States, and we appreciate all his visits and the support that he's given, and he's given a lot of support to our communities. You had asked before, one of the challenges is the priests that we have, and Vehapad has done an outstanding job in helping us source priests from the Middle East. We're trying to, grow our own priesthood from the Eastern United States, and he sent us the Batabeds that he sent us. So we appreciate all his effort into supporting our communities here, and we look forward to working with him and the Holy See and supporting his initiatives in other regions as well.
Well, thank you very much. Sırpazan Padma Hoskmatsezbe.
Շնորհակալություն սիրելի վարդան, որ այս արիթը ընծայացրել մեզ որպեսզի ժողովրդին հետը խոսենք իրենց հետը եւ այս քերեցիկ արիթը միասնապար բանձացնենք, Աստված հաջողություն տա մեր բոլորիս, մեր բոլոր անձնական աշխատանքների մեջ, ընտանիքների մեջ, ու որ գտնվենք եւ որպես հայ քրիստոնյա մենք հբարդորեն գարնանք այս համակմասին վրա ապրիլ եւ շարունակել մեր առաքելությունը, որ ես կավադամ Աստծո մեզի դրված է եւ այդ հավատքով, հույսով եւ սիրով շարունակենք միասնապար կործել եւ նորանոր հաջողություններ արձանագրել։
Amen. Շնորհակալություն բոլորիդ։
Շնորհակալ։
Thank you.